Hello everyone, my name is Hello everyone, my name is Bo, and this is my Rek'sai top lane analysis slash rundown and guide. The pros of Rek'sai are that she has incredible sustain, great split push, highest map pressure in the game arguably, very high mobility, the bruiser build gives good damage, a very low cooldown knock up, versatile movements, and she's resourceless. Basically, like ways to win games as Rek'sai is you just want to constantly be split pushing and out dueling in small skirmishes. Cons. Her very early is pretty lackluster. Her levels like 1 through 5 are pretty bad until she can get points in her Q and actually begin to dish out damage. But against really squishy tops, she has a really fun time. Can be outscaled very late, or if she falls behind. However, if you get ahead, it'll be really good for you. Building more damage will make you a sitting duck. That's basically toward any target. CC, like, I don't know, if like a Pantheon will come into your game and jumps on you, then the entire enemy team can kind of beat the crap out of you because you don't really have the most tanky, and so your survivability goes down. That's why I think the bruiser build is the best way to build her. She is getting changes in 5.7. I'll go into that in a later part in the video, but she's got a high skill cap, and again, with building more damage or falling behind, high risk, high reward. If you get ahead, you can single-handedly carry a game. So to optimize Rek'sai, basically you want to imagine her like this: DPS, AD early, and leaning more toward burst mid to late game. Because you're going to have more like cooldown reduction, so you're going to have an ability to kind of burst people down more because of your abilities being up. But early in the game, really early, again, before like level 5-ish, or like 9 I'd say actually, she is very DPS. She relies on actually trying to fight out things over time, but still getting out before fights get way too extended. So there are actually 3 rune pages that I would recommend running on Rek'sai. This would be one for a AD top lane that you're going against. The only static thing between all the pages is attack speed quintessences and physical damage marks, and that's just because personally it feels really good on the champion. Once you get your ult, you get that bonus, like 20% at level 1 rank in your ultimate, and then it just spikes your damage so much. It lets you take towers quicker, and the attack speed really early just feels really nice on Rek'sai. So this one's against an AP top, so you, instead of taking armor and scaling MR, you take scaling health and flat MR, just so you can deal with it. I'll be making a video soon about reasonings for taking scaling runes over like the flat runes, and the reasonings behind like when you could do it, when you shouldn't. And then this is a page that I've actually really liked on Rek'sai recently. It's attack speed quints, physical damage marks, either health per level, or armor seals. It really is all against what you're going for. And then last but not least is the glyphs of cooldown reduction scaling. So it's just going to give you more ability to do things throughout the course of the game. And in the Masteries, if you take 4 points in sorcery, then you have 20%. So it works out really well. For items and summoner spells, kind of hard to read this, but for your items, I would recommend, if you're starting a camp, to open Doran's Blade. If you want to just get in lane, open Longsword and 3 pots. My reasoning for this is, if you start a camp, one, you use more money for the camp, and you don't have mana. So you actually have the ability to back into, like, at the end of, like, when you get in the lane, you'll have 4 potions, a lifesteal item, and a ward, or 5 potions, a lifesteal item, and then, like, 30 extra gold. For longsword, you get into lane with the bonus AD over longsword, or over Doran's Blade, and then you have 3 pots. So basically, it's still like the entire lane is about trying to sustain really early, and at level 2, is if you take a camp, you're gonna out sustain everybody in top lane for the most part. So for core items, Hydra, definitely really good on Rek'sai because it allows her to have a whole lot more AoE. And then boots, because Rek'Sai's build top lane is very versatile. She can go full tank, she can go full AD, or she can go a nice mix, which is what I prefer to do. And for that, I would say Ravenous Hydra and your boots with Home Guard, because that's just the best thing for constantly applying map pressure. And then Trinity Force. Trinity Force will give Rek'Sai everything she needs throughout the course of the game. Past that, the other items you see are viable for their own reasons. I won't go too big into detail. Frozen Mouth's good for catching people. Last Whisper's good for armor shred. Same with Cleaver, Yomu's, and Hex Drinker's just a overall good offensive defensive item. Versus 80 opponents, there are really only 2 items that you can go, and that's Randuin's and Thornmail. Frozen Heart's not good on Rek'Sai because it's just, you don't get the mana bonuses and it becomes really inefficient really quickly. Thornmail's good against high auto attack comps. And then for versus AP, Spirit Visage and Wit's End. Now, Wit's End could be seen as an offensive item. It's the same thing with Hex Drinker, but I usually don't get it like that. I would get it as a complete like defensive item. But Wit's End is really strong on Rek'Sai because of all the attack speed that you're getting. But I wouldn't build Banshees until very late if you choose to do so, because unless it's a really high like point and click CC thing, you should be able to dodge most things as Rek'Sai. If not, then just learning how to dodge over time will eventually give you better results for things like that. But past that, Guardian Angel's good late, Warmogs is good late, in addition to like your other items. But basically, what I would do is, if I was playing a game, typically I would rush the Hydra, not the Trinity Force, because Hydra will just give you more. It'll give you more sustain lane push. Then you get boots. I typically get Trinity Force after. It's a very expensive build, which is why it's good to be ahead. And then typically, like, my last items would probably be somewhere around these 3. So that's just a typical build, being your Hydra, boots, Trinity Force, and then you can go tank. Otherwise, if you don't really need the tankiness, or like you're able to have like 1 tank item and it'd be fine, like say it's Randuin's and you don't need Spirit Visage, or the other way around, you can pick up another damage item. Personally, I like Last Whisper. It does significantly more damage. Or you can pick up like Frozen Mallet, but I like Frozen Mallet a lot on Rek'Sai. It gives tank while being able to do damage, and the passive slow makes Rek'Sai very annoying to run from. But for summoner spells, typically I will run Flash Teleport because it allows you to get so much map pressure throughout the entire course of the game, and it never actually falls off. Unlike Ignite, if you fall really behind in lane, Ignite can be not as good unless there's someone who's overhealing on the other team, like a Swain. But that's just my opinion. Both are very viable because Rek'Sai's ult gets a really low cooldown if you go the scaling cooldown direction and all that. So you can just keep bouncing around the map with your R and then teleport, and it just allows for some really good plays. So on Rek'Sai, there are 2 pages that you can really run. Typically I run this one, being 21-9. You want to abuse Blade Weaving in spell weaving because you use abilities a lot. Your Q counts as an ability and it ups your damage significantly. I take the double-edged sword because melee tank. So basically this is just the typical setup for run on Rek'sai. I'm not gonna go too much more into it. I mean, Butcher and Feast are good, but they're really opinionated. Some people like them, some people don't. Dangerous Game's great. But regardless. The other page that you can run is 21 or 921. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not, because it just allows for not fun play compared to other things. Makes Rek'sai more slippery, but I'm not really gonna go into it. So for Rek'sai, this is the change that has been speculated and has now been confirmed for patch 5.7. Actually, the time that I'm recording this video is when the patch is being updated on my client. So basically, her AD ratio gets decreased from 0.3 to 0.2. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but Rek'Sai's Q hits 3 times. So if you multiply that by both of these, basically you get 0.9% AD versus 0.6. So assuming that you hit all of your auto attacks with your Q, it would it'd do 9% of your AD, or 90% of your AD, or bonus AD I should say, and then versus 60%. So that actually hurts Rek'Sai a lot. However, to compensate for this, they did increase her mobility a lot. See this, because your typical max on Rek'Sai, I'll go through that now. Your typical order of skills are going to be Q, W, E, and then you want to max your Q, your E, and your W, and then obviously your ult at 6, 11, 16. But this allows Rek'Sai to be much more slippery in lane, especially because 6-second cooldown is absolutely nothing. If I could guess, I would guess that this is probably going to get rolled back or nerfed at the next patch or in a hotfix, because I personally think this is going to be really, really, really good. It just allows, you can go into an area, tunnel, walk in through the area, and then walk back through the tunnel within 6 seconds. It's ridiculous. If you play Rek'Sai, you'll know what I'm talking about. So for combos, basically the first line is your typical combo, and then the bottom are possible variables or things that you can do in difference, and then the quick burst combo is what I'm calling it, because it can be done in a few seconds, and with the right animation canceling and things of the sort, it just allows you to do extreme amounts of damage. But basically it's going to be auto attack. You activate Q to interrupt the auto attack. Then as the auto attack's finishing, you hit your Tiamat or Hydra. Then you want to auto attack. Then you can either use your Fury Bite into another auto attack, or you can auto attack again and use this. The reason why I list these down here is because there's no real stipulation on whether which one you want to do. I just like using the double auto because the bite gains damage per Fury, so this will increase your Fury more. But the only problem with this is someone can flash it if they feel like they're taking too much damage. But then your burrowed combo is you want to burrow. You want to either flash onto the opponent or use your E to burrow under them. Then you want to use your Prey Seeker to hit them for a little bit of magic damage. You want to unburrow, knocking them into the air, dealing physical damage, and then you want to execute the quick burst combo. And if done right, this can be done very, very quickly. You can actually burrow, and while you're burrowing toward them, you can use your Prey Seeker and then burrow or flash, or you can burrow onto them hit your Q being Prey Seeker, and then just click on them because it will initiate an auto attack which will unburrow you, and then become the auto attack and then combo. So I'll show combos after this because this is basically Summoner's Rift map and it's just a very small instance. So what it basically is, like I'm gonna try to show you here, is Rek'sai's ability to jump around the map. Now this is assuming that Rek'sai took teleport. So there are 2 tunnels in the top side of the map listed over here. Say that a fight breaks out in bot lane somewhere around here. So good minions are here on your side, bad minions are here on their side, and the enemies are past the minions while, you know, your team's over here fighting. What you can actually do as Rek'sai is use your teleport summoner spell on one of the minions and assist in the fight. Because of Rek'Sai's easy crowd control at level 2 and ability to dish out damage in fights even without a lot of items really early, it makes it an easy 3v2. Post that, you can either recall and teleport top lane, or you can just teleport top lane if not needed, because you'll be able to run down here and then bounce back up pretty easily, and you won't really lose anything. Or not teleport, you want to use your ult back up top line. But something to note here is you want to have your lane shoved before you do this. It may not take a long time, but you shove it, because by the time it'll push back to you, you'll be able to use your ult on a tunnel to get back. Now I won't display this because it's pretty self-explanatory, but with Rek'Sai, you want to continuously do this strategy by applying pressure to every portion of the map. This is why I build Hydra and Trinity Force, because Trinity Force gives you the tower push with Sheen and Zeal, and Phage gives you the tankiness and, you know, just the auto attack and then run kind of thing. But yeah, you can use your Q to interrupt an auto attack on the tower and apply Sheen's passive. That's why the quick burst combo is really good in the mid game, because you proc Sheen twice. I think you proc it on your first Q to auto, and then your E if you auto attack right after. But anyway, I'm going to get into the combo portion of the video and basically just kind of display the combos and how they should be executed.